We're going to talk about making predictions about a population. You're going to be getting a sample size, a small sample, a small group of people, and you're going to ask their opinion. And from that, you can make a conclusion about a general population, about a larger population, larger size. But before we do that, let's talk about circle graphs. Circle graph shows the results of a survey of 500 college students about their preferred spring break destination. Of these 500 students, how many students preferred Cancun? Let's see, Cancun is right here. Wow, people love Panama City, which is in Florida, South Padre Island, Texas. Never been to there. All right, let's see. Let's go Cancun. 12%. Again, what does percent mean again? Per 100. 12% per 100 prefer Cancun. And so it shows the result of a survey of 500 students. So first of all, do you remember a percent proportion? It's percent over 100 equal part to whole. Remember we did this? Part to whole equal percent per 100. So the whole is 500. So what part of 500 prefer going to Cancun? So can 100 be built up to 500 times 5 times 5? 12 times 5 is 60. So 60 college students out of 500 prefer to go to Cancun in Mexico. So 60 out of 500. A sample is a selection taken from a larger group so that you can examine it to find out something about the larger group. To save time and money, you will survey a sample or part of the group. That's why because if I want to do a survey at McMeans Junior High about how many people like the school lunch, am I going to ask every single student in the school? No, I don't have time. So to do a nice sample, I'll probably ask, I don't know, 15 or 20 kids in 6th grade, 20 kids in 7th grade, 20 in 8th grade. And from that conclusion, I can make an educated guess as to how they feel about lunches at McMeans Junior High, or about the general population. So we're going to take a sample of 25 random students about their favorite type of pie. I'm just going to pick some numbers. I'll pick 11, 4, 5, 3, 2. So 11 out of 25 prefer pumpkin, 4 out of 25, 5 out of 25, 3 out of 25, 2 out of 25 prefer pecan. So let's go back to percent. So 11, 25, 4, 25, 5, 25, 3 and 2. 3, 25th like peaches, 2 out of 25 like pecan or pecan. So percent means, again, what? Per 100. So we have to build it up from 25 students to 100%. That's times 4. That's 44% times 4, 16%, times 4, 20%, times 4, 12%, times 4, 8%. What are the decimal equivalency? 0 and 4400, 0 and 1600, 0 and 2000, 0 and 1200, 0 and 800. As a reminder, this is 800. If you had written 0 and 8, 0.8, that's really 8 tenths. 8 tenths is 80 hundredths. All right, now here's a circle graph. Again, to do a circle graph, you draw a dot in the center and draw a line to the top, 0%. I like writing the benchmark percent of 25%, 50%, and 75%. So, I like to partition or section it out by 5. You can partition it as any way you want. If you want to, you can even partition it by 1%. Of course, that would take you a long time. This is 30%, 35%, 40%, 45%. This is 55%, 60%, 65%, 70%. Partition, 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 partition. 80%, 85%, 90%, 95%. So I section it out or partition it in by 5%. So let's go to our first survey. 44% prefer pumpkin. So where is 44%? We start at 0. We shade all the way to 44%, which is right here. So this is pumpkin, and it represents 44%. Next one. 16% prefer cherry. So right here, 44%. I need to find 16% or more. On the side of my paper, I am going to add on to or tack on to 16% more. So it will, if I add 16% more, it will go to 60%. So this part is cherry, and that's 16%. All right, next one. 20% prefers apple. So I'm right at 60. 20% more is 80. So all this is apple, and that is 20% more. 12% like peaches. So 12 more, that is 92. 12% like, peaches. And last but not least, the 100%. To fill up to 100%, the last percent is 8%. So 8% more, which is the entirely pecan, is 8%. So as you can tell from this, I can make general conclusion. Pumpkin is overwhelmingly the most favored pie of all. This must be Thanksgiving. Yeah, and pecan is the least. I love pecan pie. All right, so and that's it. So the question could be asked, looking at the survey, what is the mode? What is the most response you got? Pumpkin pie. All right, so the survey of students' favorite sports was taken from a random sample of students in the school. The results are shown in the table. What was the size of the sample? How many students did they ask in the sample size? Let's see, 8 plus 3 is 11, 9. They asked 20 students. Instead of asking the entire population, they only asked 20 students for their opinion, and they make, from them, they can generalize about the general population. What is the probability that a student will prefer soccer? 8 out of 20 like soccer, or 4/10 like soccer, or 2/5 like soccer. And if you really, really want to, if you want to find what percent like soccer, build it up. How do you build up 20 to 100 times 5? So 40% of the survey like soccer, or 2/5. Next question. What is the probability that a student would prefer volleyball? Volleyball is 5 out of 20, or 1/4, or 25% of the sample size do like volleyball. So we can surmise general population at 25%. So if there were 1,000 people in the general population, 250 or 25% would prefer volleyball. There are 550 students in the school. Predict how many students at a school prefer track and field. Track and field is 4 out of 20. So the whole school has 550. What parts of 550 prefer track and field? All right, let's split it up. Can 20 be built up to 550? I don't think so. Let's break this down to 2 and 10. You could break it down to 1/5, but can 10 be built up to 550? Why do I want to go down to 5 now to build up even more? So how many groups of 10 go to 550? 55 times. So that 2 times 55 is 110 students prefer track and field out of 550. All right, using the percent equation to help you solve this. So again, percent equation is percent over 100 equal part to whole, or you can turn it around. Or you turn around and you do part to whole equal percent per 100. All right, a survey showed that 74% of a nursery's mail order customers spent more than $100 plants each spring. Predict how many of the 125,000 mail order customers will spend less than $100. Less than. So, let's see. If this is a circle, if 75% spent more, that means 26% spent less. So 100%, so 75% spent more, that means 26% spent less. How did I know that? Because I know a circle graph is 100%, it's whole. So taking away 74%, what do you have left? 26%. So out of how many people? 125,000 people. All right, so can you build this up? Yes, you can. How many groups of 100 go into 125,000? it goes in times. If you do not know, you can divide it and find out. It's times 1,250 is split up. How many groups of 100 go into 125? One time. How many groups of 100 go to 250? Two times. How many groups of 100 go to 500? Five times. And so to build it up, you need to multiply by 1,250. So what is 1,250 times 26? That's 0, 30 carry to 3, that's 15 carry to 1, that's 7. Placeholder, 0, 10 carry to 1, 5, 2. 0, 0, 5, 12. So 32,500 of the customer spent less than $100 out of 125,000. A survey of high school students with jobs asked whether the students saved some of the money they earned. 84% of the money said they're going to save some money. Of course, it needs for car insurance, I'm sure. So 84% save money. Out of 375 students, predict how many would save some of their earnings. So it's asking, this question is asking, what percent save money? 84%. And out of 375 students. So can you build this up? Not really. 100 cannot go into 375. Let's break this down. That's 42 over 50. Now, can 50 be built up to 375? Not really. So 2125. How many can 25 be built up to 375? Yes, you can. How many quarters go to 375? Goes in 15 times. So 21 times 25, 525 out of wait, stop. I knew that's wrong because using reasonableness, because I multiplied by 25, using reasonableness, how can more people save money than the number of people you have? That did not make sense. So 21 times 15 is we're building up by 15. 5, 10, 1, 2, 5, 1. 315 out of 375. Save some money. Let's see, did I do the math correctly there? Yes, I did. And last but not least, number 7. A survey showed that 55% of a travel company were planning an overseas vacation. Yay. Predict how many of the travels company 12,400 customers will vacation overseas the following year. So 55% out of 100 are going to go overseas, out of 12,400. So what part of 12,400 will go overseas? Can you build this up? Yes, you can. You can build it up by 124. Build it up by 124. If you don't know, divide the two numbers to figure out it. So what is 124 times 55? That's 20 carry to 2, 10, 12 carry to 1, that's 6. 20 carry to 2, that's 12 carry to 1, 6. 0, 2, 8, 6. 6,820 customers out of 12,400 travelers will be going overseas. So what we talked about today, as you notice, today's lesson is almost like what we learned previously about percent per portion. So in this one, you can get a sample size, get a sample group, and from that you can make a prediction about a general population. So again, they asked 55% of a sample size. Out of a sample size, 55% prefer going overseas. So from that, they can conclude that 6,820 out of 12,400 travelers will go overseas.